topics here. Where am I? Okay. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody that took the time to come and join this little quick webinar that we put last minute. I thought it was going to be like 10 of us, maybe just talking about this, and it just became like over 50, over 100, and it's just like, I wasn't really prepared for that. So just, you know, we did the best we could in 24 hours. I want to thank Robert and Astrid for joining me and just putting this together real quick. And also I want to say thank you to the CFA Live Instagram page, the FA Live page, and the Flight Test page. And there was something that was posted that inspired me to do this. And for you guys that don't know me, I've been a bookkeeper for 15 years, a tax advisor for 15 years, an entrepreneur for 6 years, and a corporate flight attendant for 3 years. How do all those mix together? I can probably share with you guys later, but we're just gonna go over this. And for my flight attendant friends, I just wanted also just share and say, you know, I feel deeply how you guys are feeling about losing the jobs and not flying. And this is a really, really sad moment. And I think we should just all come together. I have something to offer that I've been working for over 6 years, and some, you know, tax law that I have in my head that I've been accumulated for 15 years, as well as Astrid. And so we just wanted to share with you guys and just answer a bunch of questions. I was following those pages, and there was somebody that inspired me to do this post, because a flight attendant posted was confused. She didn't know if she should open or apply for unemployment, or if she should, you know, what is the company going to say? And this is very humbling. So if I'm just going to share what information we have, hopefully answer some of your questions. Astrid and I are tax advisors. We're not unemployment experts, but I just wanted to share the information that I've been finding so far. So that was a little bit about myself, and I know some of my friends already know me. And I'm going to hand it over to Astrid so she can introduce herself. Let me just switch the page here.
Okay.
Beautiful Astrid.
Thank you. Thank you, Bianca. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. It's always great to be able to help anyone that may have questions in regards to tax and any questions, especially now with this uncertain times. Anything that I can do to collaborate with Bianca, I'll be very happy to. I'm an enrolled agent. That means simply that I am licensed by the IRS to represent you in front of them for any tax questions. And I have worked in the finance industry for over 10 years. I also operate my own accounting practice, and I help small businesses and individuals like many of you in taxes. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. Thanks again, Bianca, for having me, and let's get this rolling.
Thanks for your free time. I know this is tax season and you're super busy.
We're doing this.
Yeah, and I also want to say, for the people that don't know what an enrolled agent is, pretty much is a tax expert advisor, CPA slash attorney. So an enrolled agent can represent you before the IRS if you get audited and you need representation. Only CPAs, enrolled agents, and attorneys can do that. So yay to you, Astrid, for having that. And then next one is Robert. Yay! He's at TaxSmart's VA. He's on a plane at the moment. I couldn't figure mine out, but he did. So if we have any technical issues, he will take over for me and try to keep us aligned. Okay. So let's go and start with the information that we have. Let's see here. This is our agenda for today. We're going to talk about unemployment benefits and how does that affect self-employed contractors, pilots, and flight attendants. It applies the same, and I know most of us here are flight attendants, but we can share the same information with our pilot friends. We're going to talk about the stimulus payments, taxes, and that's where Astrid is going to jump in. And then at the end, we're going to have a Q&A section for maybe half an hour, happy hour, just to share our cameras and see where we are at and just seeing those beautiful faces around the world here. Okay, so let me, I was going to start here. Okay, so I am going to start with the unemployment benefits. I don't know who that person was who posted there, and I'm going to say names. I think I already know who that one is. But self-employment, the new pandemic self-employment bill now is going to help us get workers, self-employed individuals, and contractors. That means contract flight attendants and pilots are going to benefit from this new bill. So this is different for each state. So I recommend you to go to your state unemployment website and just figure out how to fill out the application. I've had people from California, New York, Florida, from other states contacting me about how to apply. I am not an expert on unemployment benefits. I just know with this bill, that's part of the bill, you do qualify for unemployment benefits. So go ahead and apply. If you guys can have somebody else help you on how to apply, just tips on applying for unemployment. I know some flight attendants probably got laid off maybe a month or two ago, or this is the first week or month. So I just want to say, have those 1099 income available, those forms, your last paycheck, the direct deposit. You're going to need all of that information to fill out your application. And it's going to be based on your income for the amount that you're going to qualify per week, per state. All the states are different. I am a tax preparer licensed in the state of California, so I do know a lot about the California. So if you reside in the state of California, feel free to reach out to me. I think you already know how to find me, but I will give you more information later. Well, that gives it, so apply in the residency state. And where is your residency state? And that was one of the questions I was asked. Since we all work as a flight attendant in different states, we get paid from different contractors. Your residency state is where you are paying taxes, mainly where your home tax is. And where your home tax is where your driver license is, where you have your car register, where you live the majority of time. Okay, so that's that. And then with the stimulus now, in the state of California, you can get up to $400 a week of unemployment benefits. And now with this new bill, they're gonna add another $600 per week. So this is for a limited time. Each state is different. It could be 12 weeks, it could be extended. Just keep an eye on those rules. Keep an eye on information that we're gonna be sharing for all of us. Now that I know that we all need to know this information, I'll be posting stuff on our Instagram page, on our Facebook page, so you guys can follow and just keep you up to date with news. Is there anything that I am missing here, Astrid, that you wanted to add?
No, I think you covered pretty much it. It's important that what you mentioned, the residency state, that creates confusion at times. So you clarify that. The amount, just so that we clarified, it could be up to a certain amount a week. Like you mentioned, it'll depend on your income, on your proof of income,
right.
And every state will have different amounts. But for the state of California,
right.
I think you covered.
Sorry, I might find more information for the state of California. So keep an eye on what I'm going to share later, because it will be a good information too. I'm gonna go through the process and see what they ask, and then so I can better help you guys. This is just like last minute stuff that we put in.
And
so
just a little
thing, apply?
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Bianca, maybe just a little thing. It could take up to 3 weeks for the application to be processed. And now with the volume of applicants, this can increase. So just patience is key here.
Yes, and also for my flight attendant friends, I don't know much about how this is going to last, but if you can apply, get this money that the state is going to give to us, that the federal government is giving to us. And going back to that same post, don't feel bad for applying for this. We're all going to have a very rough time, and this is globally. This is not just us. This is a time to be very humble. Like myself, I wanted to share this with you guys, this information. Also, in California, go to the EDD website and you can find more information there. They have a really good section on the coronavirus, and that's where you're going to find all the information for you guys. I was going to share something else. Okay, it might come back to me. Okay, moving on to the next slide. Okay, So let's talk about stimulus payments. And this is another pretty much free money in a way that we're going to get, right? The way I understand. So I'm going to play the flight attendant here, and I'm going to have Astrid, the expert in taxes, help me answer some of the questions. But I'm going to let her share the information that she needs to share first, and then I will just kind of monitor how or ask the questions as far as flight attendants. Like, what are questions as flight attendants that we need to know for this stimulus payments and how it's going to affect us?
Right. Okay, great. So a lot of this is everywhere on the news. It has had so much media coverage that a lot of us are confused. Even tax professionals, as we get this information, it can evolve. This is the third package, the third relief package that has been passed. So there could be more changes to it. Just keep that in mind. We're trying to share this information as it becomes available. And just like anything with the government agencies, the process of setting this up and rolling it out could take a little longer. So some of the questions that Bianca and I are going to try to answer are the essential things for common individuals, like most of us, that will make a good use of this money, right? So
yeah,
whenever you're ready.
It just came back to me. What was I going to say about unemployment? But I'm going to come back and probably address that again.
Okay.
So the requirements are file either your 2018 and 2019 tax return to get your funds. So if you haven't filed 2018 tax returns or 2019, then the requirements to have filed those, right? And as flight attendants, I know contractors or W-2 employees, and especially in the state of California now, flight attendants are considered W-2 employees. So it's confusing, but yes, as long as you have the W-2, then you are pretty much an employee. If you haven't filed 2018, then you need to file. And if you change your information or have new information from 2018 to 2019, like banking information, like your address, if that information changed from 2018 to 2019, our advice as tax professionals is file your 2019 as soon as possible. Those funds are going to be starting to be sent out in 3 weeks, right? Is that correct?
We don't know yet. So,
okay.
So those are, that's some of the, yeah, no, it's a good point because what you're saying, what you said at the beginning is correct. What they're going to use, remember, this is the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service providing this rebate to you. So this is being labeled as a rebate or a credit to individuals. So what that means is they will use tax data, income tax data, in order to roll out the funds. So they will utilize the information from your 2019 income tax return. And if you don't have that available, they will go back a year and look at your 2018 income tax return. And let's say that you did not file those either. They will utilize your Social Security statement. Yes, your Social Security statement and see and take an average on that. So I would strongly recommend, if you haven't filed any of those 2 years, you have until July 15th, now that they even extended the due date for that. So you have until then to file your tax returns and consult with a professional, go on and if you have doubts, I mean, that's what we're here for. We're trying to answer these things for you. So the other thing was what you just mentioned, if this will be distributed and how soon. My guess is that it could take up to the end of April, just because they still have to work out the process and how to roll this out. Remember, this is brand new. It just came out last Friday, and it was announced that it was approved. So it could take until the end of the month for them to start releasing funds, or for them to come up with a real plan and how to make those funds available to you.
So as tax professionals, we still don't know exactly how.
We don't know the exact date. No, right. We don't know the exact date.
So, and for all my flight attendant friends, if you guys have the passion to read tax law, great. There's a lot of information on Google, but just to save you the headache, like Astrid said, hire yourself a professional. Ask the question, feel that you are in good hands, and that they're going to give you the right information, and that whomever is doing your tax preparation, you're going to feel comfortable that they're looking out for you. Okay. So leave it.
Sorry, Bianca. One thing that we're going to do also at the end, like you said, we're going to share links. I always suggest go back to the main source of this information.
Right.
The IRS website provides the information there. Sometimes it's just a little difficult to navigate it just because it's too much information. So we're going to try to send you the link that takes you to the information that you need.
Right. Yeah. So as tax professionals, we know all this is happening. We still don't know the final details of how they're going to roll it out. We're just waiting for more information and guidance and rules and how all of this is going to translate into your tax return, right? For 2020, and how is it going to affect on 2021? We kind of have an idea, but we don't know 100% yet how.
Yes. So what it's being said is that this will be an advanced rebate. So remember this, it's an advance. So they're using your 2019 data, assuming that your 2020 income may or may not change. And I'm sorry if I'm confusing you more, but they're as confusing as this sounds.
I'm gonna translate it pretty easily. What all of this means is that if you made less money in 2020 this year, where all of us are going to be pretty much having a rough time, when you file your 2021 return, because they're basing your income on 2019 or 2018, where you were making a lot of money, hopefully for flight attendants we're making a lot of money, right? And they're going to base your refund up to $1,200. But if you made more, and there's a calculator that I will share in the links later, I'll send you email, based on your adjusted gross income, and I'll explain that in the email probably later what that means. There's a calculator that based on the income, you may not get the full $1,200 in this rebate. But if that doesn't apply for you this year, when you file your 2021, if you just qualify, let's say for $600, and they still owe you $1,200 because the credit was $1,200, you still in 2021 are going to get the rest of the $600. Is that basically how?
In a nutshell. In a nutshell.
Yes. Okay. It's so confusing to explain it, but
right.
somehow so you're entitled to $1,200, right? But based on your income.
Keep in mind, just keep in mind that the amount that it's being published or announced at the moment is $1,200 for individuals. Married couples will get $2,400, and there is an additional $500 for each qualifying child. So if you have a qualifying child, what that means is whoever you reported as your dependent on your income tax return that has not reached the age of 17. So a lot of it is very general. We will, like I said, we will refer you back to the source of the information, but this is with an effort of just sending out the general details, so that at least you know where to start as you're doing your research. Another point in what you were saying also, Bianca, is when you file your 2020 tax return next year, you're going to see this in a form of the credit. So I would prefer not to go too deep into what a credit is yet. We can do like a follow-up later, but this will be mainly, just the basics of it. The next point, there were questions about who qualifies for the credit and when and how it starts phasing out. So pretty much, when do I stop qualifying for this? So if you are an individual or a single filer that makes $99,000 a year or more, you are not eligible. Okay, so if you are a head of household, the amount is $136,000. If you are a married couple, $198,000. This is when you completely don't qualify for it. there are other amounts that are related to when it starts phasing out, meaning when you stop getting the full 1,200. So all of this is being collected from your income tax data. And as this is, developing more, the IRS, when they sent you the rebate, for most of you or us that filed electronically and decided to include our bank account in our tax returns or refunds, they will use that information to deposit the funds, right? If you don't have any of that information, there is no place that I know of at the moment where you can go and update it. They will mail you the payment. So just remember that there is no action for you to be taken at the moment because the IRS has not opened a window or a site where you can go in and apply or enter your information. So watch out for any sites or scammers or that kind of thing, because there could be that risk. So remember, the IRS has not informed us of any action other than wait to be taken in order to get these funds. Okay?
I'm going to just jump in the phase out income for flight attendants, because the industry where we were, there was flight attendants that average income, I don't know, I'm not going to say numbers, but, if it's over 100,000, your adjusted gross income, if I will say, go back and look at your 2019 or 2018 tax return, and look at the line on your form, on your taxes, or ask your tax professional, what was my adjusted gross income from 2018 or 2019, and do I qualify for this? They should be able to give you, just send a quick email. They should be able to say yes or no, or no worry, or just guide you in the right direction. The 99,000 per year. Ooh, did I just add more zeros in there? Sorry, guys. I was doing this on the fly. You're not making that out of me. Okay. For most flight attendants, I'm gonna say if you're under the 99,000 a year gross income, that does not mean that you're not gonna qualify. Okay, because you might have 401k deductions. You might have other things that you paid, and that's not your adjusted gross income. I am sure a lot of flight attendants are going to qualify for this, because you all going to be below the 99,000 a year. So keep an eye on that. Look at your 2018, look at your 2019 tax return. Just look at those numbers, and if you don't know where to locate it, if you reach out to us, we'll let you know which form to look at. And also, let's say head of household means you have a dependent, right? So if you have if you're a flight attendant or a pilot that is a single taxpayer with a dependent, and you file as the head of household, then your adjusted gross income has to be under 136,000. If you're married filing joint, it has to be under 188,000 based on adjusted gross income. And that on your tax forms, there's a line there. If you look at the form 1040, there's a line there that says adjusted gross income. Look at that number, and if it says if it's under this phase out income amount, then you do qualify. So that's just quickly for you to go look at, instead of like emailing, going crazy. Look at the forms you have from prior, and just based on information. There's also a calculator that I will be sharing also in the links later, where you can base it off of that. And then one last thing, if you don't qualify based on your 2019 income, when you file your 2021 income, if it's below this amount, then you will get it. So if you don't get it in 2020, you will get it in 2021. Is that correct? So far?
No, the funds
are just available for this year?
The funds should be, the IRS has been directed to make the funds available as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. So no one will be allowed to get this credit after December 31st of 2020.
So what if people already file? I'm just asking questions now. Like,
yeah, no,
I know the answer, but so what if people already file and
so the instructions so far have been,
they'll just get the refund, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think I just answered my question.
Sorry. Yeah. No, it's fine. And these are the things that we're trying to answer, you know, in group settings. It's even better because we have the same questions to the IRS. So when our clients are asking how soon are they expecting these funds, and that will happen, they have been directed to do it as soon as possible. But it could take, like I was telling you, my guess, and this is just by experiencing the speed of how, you know, the IRS works, whether it's fast or slow, it could take up to 3 weeks, maybe a little more. I don't know. The answer is we don't know exactly the time. What we do know is that when your funds are sent, the IRS will use the information that was last available, whether it was your bank account or your mailing address. So after they release the funds, they will notify you within 15 days that the funds were sent out to you and how much the amount of those funds. So keep that in mind and be on the lookout for any correspondence. I'm sure that Bianca will share with you the moment the IRS says, hey, funds are being rolled out, you know, so that we're all expecting that. So for now, just remember also, do not visit sites that may offer you to, oh, log in here and input your bank information so that we have your data to send you the funds. Be on the lookout, be careful, don't. The IRS has not said to go onto any website to update any bank information.
Do nothing, just they're
wait.
just gonna wait for
Yeah.
you. There's no
Just wait.
phone call, be aware of scammers, no phone calls, no emails, no, unless the IRS sends you a correspondence, that's the only way they're gonna communicate with you, if any communication. Robert, can we turn off cameras? I know somebody joined there, probably doesn't know that it's share. Hi, welcome, whomever just there. Your camera is on. We're trying to keep them off for now. We're gonna have a Q&A. We're gonna have a Q&A section later, and just a happy hour cocktail time. So if you can turn off your camera, that would be great. Thank you. Great.
Okay. So that was it so far from what I have to share on my end, Bianca.
Great.
If we have more questions, I can stick around.
Yeah. Is there? Okay, great. What time is it? Like it's
it is
4. So we have half an hour. Okay. Was there anything else? One last thing about the unemployment is this money? I'm gonna ask you a question. Is this $1,200 taxable? Do we have to pay it back?
No,
it's free money. I mean,
it is
not really free money, but free money.
I don't call it free money. Let's call it a rebate. Let's call it a rebate or a credit.
It's our own tax dollars putting to work. Is that
there's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So this is a credit. It's a advanced rebate. So in other words, taxpayers' money.
I'm just gonna ask. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask some last questions, and then we're gonna have everybody that join us ask questions. This is gonna be the fun part. I'm gonna go back to the unemployment and just addressing again that a couple of comments and texts that went through the CFA page live and I'm sorry, CFA live Instagram. The employers, so you don't feel bad for applying for unemployment. This is as a U.S. citizen, that's something that you're entitled to at this point. And employers with this bill also are getting a lot of help. So don't feel bad for applying. I don't think your job is going to be jeopardized. Hopefully not, right? But at this point, plan for 6 months, if not next to a year, of not flying. This is really sad, but what we're learning is that this is going to take a long time for everything to bounce back. So get this help that you need. Get it now. Everybody, big corporations, aviation industry, like for corporate flight attendants is a bit different. We're self-employed. For the commercial aviation, their employees, different rules apply. But in our industry, we're pretty much contractors, right? Self-employed. So I know I probably didn't cover everything that we wanted to cover, but we will probably host a series of webinars if you guys want to join. Maybe keep them small so we actually get to chat and have and ask questions. So let's see. Let me move to the next one. How to get a hold of us and ask questions. So you guys know our website, right? www.taxsmartinc.com, info@taxsmart. You can also text us at the 800 number. This was very basic information. I just wanted to empower all of you to file for a tax return. If you haven't filed, we have questions, need help, we're here to help you. We're going to be answering most of the questions via text or email. What else? Think about cash flow. Think about the next month. You know, think about if you, and this is my bookkeeper advice to you guys. If you have certain skill, if you have something, some other kind of way that you can earn money, you know, on top of the unemployment, on top of that, let me know in any way I can help and advice, and maybe the idea that you have that you want to take your business to a next level, or the idea, or, you know, if you're already selling something, I would love to know, and I would love to know how I can help. And then I just want to say thank you. Hey, we did it. Thank you for everybody that joined. Thank you for taking the time. I will be opening the cameras, or anybody can start opening the cameras and see where we are. This could be a Q&A question session for another half an hour. I'm here. Our happy hour cocktail time. So I don't know if it's still there. Yay, camera's on.
So thank
Let's
you,
make this
Bianca
fun.
and Astrid, for sharing this knowledge and spending some time with us. And
Thank
what
you,
I'm gonna do
Lover.
as well
Can I get
is,
that? How can I get that background?
oh, that's advanced. I'm actually in a private
How can you be in the
jet.
plane and us flight attendants are not in the plane? This is unfair.
What I'm gonna do as well, I'm gonna quickly launch a poll that you can keep answering some questions for our improvement for next time as well,
Yeah.
while you're asking questions. So if you've got spare minute, please answer those questions and ask us whatever you wish.
Who's in the background out there and with glasses? Where is that at? Hi.
I'm Joffrey Head.
Hi, Jeffrey.
Yes, I have a question. If you're a contractor and you're working for a staffing agency and they've been doing all your, I've been with them I got brought on with for a company for a couple months. Would they be the ones providing the paperwork necessary for you to file for unemployment since they are staffing?
Yes. So what you need to do is get your last pay stub from whatever company you're working for. And from what I understand, the unemployment, it's been years, but I did apply for unemployment many years back. And I believe you qualify for the highest weekly pay based on your highest income. So, and I think you can go back. I'm not an expert at this, but get the help you need. And yes, you will need your last pay stub. You will need, I haven't done the application. I really don't know what questions they're asking. But the good news is that you do qualify.
Right. The biggest problem is getting into the, like I lived in Missouri, the company, I'm in Illinois, but you have to go back to Missouri because that was where your last place for the last 18 months and bring this all together. It's really in depth. And for anyone who's doing it, you have to be an early bird to get online to ask questions with the people and everything like that. It's not easy. They don't make it to be easy. They want you have to fight, but continue doing it and never give up. And eventually you'll get a live person who will enter questions like 2 seconds. I waited all this time for.
Could you apply online? Do they have like?
I applied in Illinois for online. However, once I realized what I did and I saw the error message, you have to go back to your last employer or last 18 months. So that's where you have to kind of start. So if you were going to start living in a different state and then you went to a different state to fill out your tax form or whatever, then you'll have to go back to the first state, and they are the ones who will do the they work together. So certain states will work with other states when doing your paperwork, so you don't have to file in both places. Right.
So we talked about the residency state. So you have to apply pretty much where your residency state at. There's some questions. If you guys can turn on the cameras, I think it will be kind of nice to see who's there. I know we have a lot of people here, but it will be kind of fun to see everybody. There's some questions. if you were,
So there is one before that. It says someone is asking if I have not submitted my 2019 taxes yet, but your 2018 data makes you uneligible for that. One common thing, I believe it's Dana. Dana, one common thing here is that it is not necessarily based on your income forms. I would pay attention to the line that says adjusted gross income on your tax return for the year of 2018. Because if you haven't filed your 2019 return, they're going to use your 2018 data. So if you believe that you may be in the phase out group or that category, I strongly suggest file that tax return for 2019 as soon as possible. And that way you kind of guarantee that that you could get, you know, those $1,200 bucks. I hope I answered that. Or if it was Dana asking.
I just want to let everybody know that I unmuted everybody, and you have the option to share the camera if you want or not. I know Christina is there. Who else is there? I can share. Hi, Christina. Come on, see you, please.
Okay, fine.
Fine. Who else is not shy? Come on. Who else is there?
Okay, so I have a question, if that's okay.
Go, yeah.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Secondly, I'm in Texas, and I did apply for unemployment. I finally, after 4 days of refreshing the page, got through yesterday and applied, and today I was denied. I was denied because it said I didn't make enough, which is pretty ironic. Also, I get both W-2s and 1099s. The majority of my income comes from W-2s, but I work for 8 or 9 different companies, and I would say 3/4 of them are W-2. But Texas is not set up with their unemployment site to properly field the questions for flight attendants who are contract or gig workers or whatever. So you kind of have to go off their current system, which is as though you were a full-time employee. So I don't know if it's, and again, because you're in California, you may not know the answer to this, but it denied me. And the only option I had after I tried calling them over 300 times today, 300 times today, and got no answer. But I don't know if I have to just wait for an appeal or wait for the process to come through where they're going to look and see, okay, all these people were denied, but they're actually qualified. But because I get W-2s and 1099s, it pretty much put me in a situation where I couldn't be 100% truthful in my application process. You know what I mean?
I think, and this is my personal opinion, because this stimulus payment just happened.
Right.
They don't have the capacity in any state probably, unless they're really working 24/7 to update their page and the website and the application process. So we all just gonna have to be very patient and very persistent on how to apply for this money and how to get the money. I know for the state of California, I kind of glanced at last night before the meeting, and there is a way that you can click where it says contractor or self-employed, because this is the first time, right? The states were not ready for this. The states didn't have this, unless you were in, for example, state of California, unless you were as a self-employed contributing to your unemployment insurance. Then, but that was an additional income that a lot of people don't know that exists, that you can actually contribute to your own, as self-employed in the state of California. Again, I don't know much about other states. You can contribute to your unemployment, self-employment unemployment fund for this types of situations, right? The good thing with this bill is that all the states are going to have to help us. They probably just don't have the capacity, the forms yet, and everything. We're still all waiting for this, but the good news is that it is law, and we all apply, you know, based on those income qualifications.
So really quick, not to keep still in the spotlight here, but so then would you recommend, or maybe not even recommend is the right word, because again, you're in California, would you suggest that instead of what I did, which I can't go back and change it now at this point anyway, it doesn't matter, because once you've applied, they won't allow you to, you know, apply again. But should I have, for other contractors out there, listed myself as my employer instead of, it had a drop down box with a couple of the companies that I work for who I do get W-2s from, and I kind of had to just pick one. So I picked the one who I worked for the most and was denied based off of that. Should I have, in retrospect, listed myself as the employer?
You can, I think you can do either or. If you were W-2, right, and then you had enough income, you can probably use that to apply. I don't know what they based your disqualification for, but I'm sure you can appeal it, right? And this is again all new to everybody. So if you appeal it and the funds are there, they're giving it to the states to give it to us. So it's just a matter of like how the application process is going to be. So even if you get denied, I say don't panic. You just have to go through a different route of how to get the funds, because it's not like they have to hold the funds from you. And I wonder what the disqualification was for.
Well, I think it was an income thing. It was saying that I didn't make enough, or I didn't make enough to contribute to whatever it was that I was, going off of. And, not that I want to put my personal information out there, but for that one particular company alone was over $30,000. Now, mind you, I work for 8 or 9 different companies. So when you add all of it up, clearly there's more than enough money. But for that one particular company that I had to pick from the drop-down box, because it's not set up for a contractor yet, was somewhere around the $30,000 range. And they were saying I didn't make enough, or I didn't contribute enough to.
And that's pretty much just going to happen to a lot of self-employed individuals, because none of us contributed to unemployment funds. So we're just going to have to see our local news, talk to somebody in our local states. I wish I had a tax pro in every state that can help us. And again, we just know the tax law. We don't know much about the unemployment, but for what I can share and assure is that those funds are available on each state level to give to individuals that qualify. So just get the right help right there. But it doesn't seem, or it sounds to me, if they're gonna, all the states kind of work, this is a federal law that applies to all states. So you should just probably just check in there. Christina. I just saw your pictures. Yeah, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Nina, for your question. I just wanted to quickly drop a line and say that Astrid is leaving us now. So thank you once again, Astrid.
Thank you, Astrid. Thanks for your time. I know you're busy, and we will share the recording later to anybody that has to leave. Yeah.
Anytime, I'm here to help. Good luck, everybody. Stay safe.
Great.
Thank you once again. Bye.
Yeah.
And Bianca, just a reminder, your battery is on 11%. Please plug in your computer.
What do I? Oh, sorry. Okay. You can see all of that on your side. Okay, that's fine. This is my first webinar, everybody. I just put it together in less than 24 hours, and it was just like crazy how many people need information. So that's why wanted to do it. And thank you, Christina, for sharing it. Thank you, everybody who shared and took the time. I wish there was more questions. We still have the chat room open, correct? So you can.
We have got 2 questions from Melissa, and then just scroll up, and then Emma. So please plug your computer, and then we can answer those 2 maybe.
I got it. Okay, guys, give me one more second, and let's just not share names. Keep it confidential on the question. How about that? So that way everybody can ask questions, and then I'll do my best to answer them. Okay, I'll be right back with my charger.
In the meantime, while Bianca is away, I'm not sure if you guys see the poll that I've launched on your screens. It's a quick 5 questions poll for us to improve later. Not sure if you see it. Maybe for those that are on cell phones, you may not see it, but for those that are on desktops, you should be able to answer.
Yeah, I don't see it on my cell phone.
Hello, I'm back.
Okay. Then that's something to improve for next time.
Can you read me some of the questions? For the ones that just joined, okay, cameras are on, just so you know. And you can unmute yourself and ask a live question if needed to. Oh, there you go. We have.
Hi, Bianca.
Hi, Emma. Am I muted?
Oh, there's the poll.
Oh,
Can you guys hear me?
If you want, you can just answer those simple questions in meantime.
I think I know what's happening.
While Bianca is taking
Okay.
care of the questions.
What are the
chat.
questions? How did you hear about a webinar? How did you hear about TaxSmart? Oh, this is the poll questions. Okay. So there are some questions here on the chat room, and please ask me questions because I can't think right now as flight attendant. Like, what more questions can I answer? I have a lot of. So you guys can help me with just typing your questions, and I'll do my best. So there's one question. Also, if you are a W-2 with some companies in 1099, with others, is there another option to apply for assistance through a stimulus package for 1099 employees? I think we covered that a lot, and yes, either a 1099 or a W-2 employee can apply in the state of California if you're in the state of California. In order to receive the 600 for gig workers, do you apply for unemployment as normal, or do I need to mark myself as self-employed even if all of my income is W-2? If all of your income is W-2, you're a W-2 employee, you're a regular employee, so mark yourself as a regular employee. And so you might qualify for the 400 plus the 600. So that's like 1,000, essentially, based on your income and from that application.
So I don't have to do anything additional in order to make that qualification. The state will look at that and decide whether or not I do.
Ask me one more time.
So personally, when I'm filling out unemployment, I don't have to do anything specific in order to qualify for the 600. The state will decide on its own discretion from the information I give them.
Right. So
Okay.
what we know is that with the stimulus package, the federal government has authorized 600 additional on top of. So let's say you qualify for 200. Maybe I'm saying this incorrectly, but what I understand from what I'm reading is, if you, let's say, just qualify for 200 and they give you 600, so then your weekly is going to be, because not a lot of people are going to qualify for the 400. So that's what they're giving the $600, so people do have more money in their pockets.
So I don't have to do anything extra in order to get that, or say that I am a gig worker. They'll just realize that from the information that I'm giving them.
Right. For what I understand, what's happening is if with this application, employees or gig workers, everybody that collects unemployment is going to get additional 600.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have.
But I will follow up on that. Just bear on me with all this.
Thank you. I appreciate
pages of tax information.
I know. I know.
It is confusing for me. I assume it's confusing for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Was there another question?
Yeah, I have a question kind of just tacking on to what Emma said. Since in California we are all W-2, like the big companies have converted us all to W-2 workers, but we haven't been laid off. Like we're basically just kind of in this limbo where you're a W-2 worker with no work.
Mm-hmm.
I will say check with your employer first and ask what's going to happen, right? I think we have the right as employees to ask.
Okay.
What's the situation? They should keep you informed. And I'm sure a lot of companies don't know. Like we're all in this pandemic together. Like I'm sure employers don't want to let go a lot of good employees. I'm sure they're having a hard time trying to figure out, you know, this is me as a bookkeeper in the accounting industry. I'm sure they're trying to figure out too how to stay afloat as a business owner, just as a company. So how to, you know, relay this information to employees. I am sure they're having a hard time, just as much as I'm having a hard time trying to explain this. But I will say what I'll do first will be talk to them, you know, give me the honest answer. If it looks like, and for what I'm seeing and what is going to happen is planes are ground, we're not flying. Think about yourself and think about maybe for the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to be grounded, right? Because it's happening to me. Like I'm not flying much. I'm not flying actually. And so I'm just mentally preparing myself for not flying for the next 6 months. and just apply based on income reduction. They do have a section where it says income reduction if your income has been reduced due to the pandemic, which we're now as flight attendants qualify because, you know, it's not that they're letting us know we're fired or laid off, but we know nobody's flying, right? So our income has already been reduced. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay, great. Is there anybody else? And there's more questions here on the chat room too.
Does that reduced income count for self-employed people as well, or only W-2 employees?
It should apply the same. It should apply the same. So with the bill, they're treating us as regular employees for the benefits. And again, I'm not an expert on employment. This is just my personal opinion on the things I know, and just how I can translate it in my head and the advice I can give. I will check with your state news. Since we're all in different states, I know more about the state of California because I reside in the state of California. Somebody said, thank you so much for hosting the meeting. Unfortunately, have to leave. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Okay. I came in late, wondering if there's information will be available later. We're recording this meeting. Hopefully it's probably posted on YouTube or Facebook. I didn't know it was going to be like this much hit. And I thank you all for the support. And there's a lot of people asking for questions. I think we have a poll question where we ask if this webinar was helpful. Right, so I would love to know that. I will also would love to know if you guys want to host a series of webinars, maybe for half an hour. I can donate my time too, because it's tax season. I'm super busy too. But if we can talk about cash flow, and that's one of the things as a bookkeeper that I always tell my tax clients and my friends, and I know some of them are listening to me. Don't be afraid of extra income. Do have a side gig. Maybe this is the time to work on that low entrepreneurial side of you, right? You guys are resourceful. You guys are very creative. Find a way of trying to find an income, and confidentially, you can reach out to me. Any advice I can give you, I work with small business and entrepreneurs, freelancers. I do their bookkeeping, and if anything that I can share with you guys around that. So maybe our next webinar, I would love to host a webinar about cash flow, right? Because we all relying on just flight attendant income. I say we because I'm gonna add me as a we, but you know, if there's something else that you guys can do to earn money now on top of the unemployment, do it. I, as an entrepreneur, encourage you to do it. Do that passion, do that extra thing, and we have a really nice community. And I would love to keep it a judgmental free zone for all of us who want to participate and help each other in our little businesses to do it, because I always encourage all of my friends to not be afraid of earning more money and paying more tax. If you have a good tax accountant, they will make sure you pay the least minimum amount of tax on your income. And I know a lot of you guys have a lot of talents and do a lot of beautiful things that I've seen, and I would love for you guys to earn money on that. Like, let's just plan for the worst, right? And if things get better, then they will get better, and we're just gonna go to Hawaii on a vacation. But if not, you know, I got a text today. Somebody contacted me, and I can feel the panic. You know, people don't have income, and they were not flying. People are just relying on the flying income, and it's really scary. It's scary for me because I won't have that income. You know, it doesn't matter. But you know, I myself have this little side job I do, and I've been doing it for a while, and you know, I also struggle. You know, this is nothing. You know, this is good. So I'm going to be humble enough to, you know, to share this information. You know, 3 years ago I started flying because my business wasn't really producing a lot of sales, right? So any freelancer that just started up, your idea wasn't really taking off, and the reason why I became a flight attendant was because I wanted to have a little extra income, and it just helped me from there. So hopefully that gives you the encouragement to continue the other passion that you have and somehow bring income to your family, to your pocket. Let's see more questions here. Question here. If we were to take a flight and get COVID-19, do you claim unemployment or disability? Oh, this is a good question. Does the company have any obligation to assist since it happens on the job? Are we talking contractor or are we talking W-2? I'm going to say both. So if it's a contractor, I'm sure you're covered with your health insurance. I'm sorry, I take it back. If you're a regular employee, your health insurance should cover you, right? Do you have to? Can you work? You should be able to apply for disability insurance in the state of California because now you are disabled. And again, if you go to the EDD website, there's a whole page on the COVID-19 information there. So I encourage you to go there, and we'll share the link. If you're a, let's see. So if you're an employee, then yeah, we'll go that route. Insurance first, and if you're laid off, then I know you qualify for COBRA, right? So you should be able to have the coverage. And then if your income totally reduces, then you might be able to qualify in the state of California for Medicare. Yeah. If you're a 1099 employee and in the same situation, I am going to throw this out there. I don't know about you guys, but I have travelers insurance, and I can share with you who my insurance is later. So I'm not going to do promotions, but I can. I am covered around the world. If that happens to me outside working as a contractor, if I get injured, if you guys, if flight attendants don't have travelers insurance, please make an investment on yourself and pay $30 to qualify for coverage. And if you don't have health insurance in the state now of California, I think the deadline was March 31st to enroll. But as a 1099 employee, or not employee, as a 1099 contractor, unfortunately, I'm not an attorney, I can't say much, but if you does the company have any obligation to assist when it happens on the job? I will say consult with an attorney. I am not an expert at this, but this is what I understand from what I understand. But if you as a contractor, if you pay for your own health insurance, so you guys know, it's a tax deduction. You are able to deduct that money on your tax preparation. If you need to pay for traveler's insurance, which I do, is also a tax deduction, because if I didn't have all of those expenses as a business expense, is a self-employment expense. So hopefully you guys have insurance. Let's see. Is there any more questions? Did I miss any questions?
I think that's all covered from the group chat.
Great.
If anyone has got any questions,
good.
Add like Christina's dog.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Okay, so I think most of everybody left. We have a few more participants there. Thank you so much for joining, and we will try to cut some pieces here and there to be able to share to other people. Let us know. We might send you an email maybe with some questions, or I just want to know how do we do, and if you guys, is there any other topic? I wish I was an unemployed expert and attorney that I could answer a bunch of questions about unemployment, but I'm not. Follow TaxSmart on Instagram, Facebook. We will be sharing on our stories information as it comes, and I'm going to dedicate information specifically for flight attendants, since now I know that you guys have a bunch of questions. And if you have questions, suggestions, anything, just reach out to me. I welcome everything and anything. Okay? Good.
Thanks for your time, Bianca.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you,
Bianca.
All right. Stay safe,
everyone.
And we'll host it. We'll have fun. Okay.
I didn't get to ask my question.
Oh, go ahead. I'm here. Oh.
Oh.
Somebody just said, are you still there?
I didn't get to.
Whomever that was. Okay, I have a question.
I worked for this company in January of 2020, and right after, so my 91 lady, she was very, very germaphobe. So when this came out, she will not fly anywhere ever, like for a long time. So would I still be entitled to get that money too, even though I'm
unemployment? Was that an unemployment question?
Well, yeah. Would I be able to get like the stimulus thing, or should I just go for unemployment because I haven't been flying at all with her?
The stimulus and the unemployment are two different things. The stimulus, you will qualify based on your 2018 or 2019 tax return, and that's the federal government will handle that. As far as the unemployment, if you're a W-2 employee, I don't know which state you're on.
I'm on both. I have 2 jobs, luckily.
Hi, Colleen. Hi. Sorry. I'm just so excited to see my friend. What was the state again?
Well, I live in Nevada, but the company I worked for is in California.
And where do you file your state taxes? In Nevada?
Yeah.
Oh, Nevada doesn't have taxes, does it? Like others. So Nevada state will be the one who you have to apply. Who you apply for unemployment.
Okay.
And if you're a W-2 employee, even better, because that's a simple unemployment insurance claim. This is new for self-employed and contract flight attendants.
Okay. Yeah, I was just contract. I was just contract with them.
Oh, you were contract. Okay. Yeah. So check with the state. Check with the state, and then you joined a bit later, but we talked about like how the
I did join later. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. The state's still so new to everybody that the states are not prepared to all this work that they have, and probably the application is still not updated. That includes self-employed gig workers and this and that. So keep an eye on that and just like be patient and just persistent. If you get denied, reapply again. There will be a lot more information, but it will be with the state that you need to follow the news and follow the rules for each individual state.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Good. All right. Good. Hi, Colleen. We're about to end the webinar, but I will call you later.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
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 Thanks.